Who am I talking about? He had a lisp as a child and was regarded as negligent, forgetful, and slovenly by his teachers. He was often bottom of his class and probably had dyslexia and possibly ADHD. He was sent to boarding school at 10 years old, but rarely visited by his parents, and spent very little time with either of them during his childhood. At 25, he was captured during a war and sent to a prisoner of war camp. At 40, he organised and was blamed for one of the most disastrous military campaigns in recent history, where both my grandfathers almost died. By his late 50s, his political career was effectively over and he was left in the wilderness. He suffered from serious depression, was a heavy smoker and drinker. He had 2 mini strokes while leading the country. Yet he not only survived all this adversity, he went on to become voted the greatest English person in history. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature, was admired around the world, and became the most quoted leader ever. It is, of course, Winston Churchill. Perhaps the finest example of somebody who grew stronger through adversity, through challenges, and through setbacks and failure. You see, when you study history, you can read about remarkable leaders who triumph over adversity, such as Franklin Roosevelt, who lost the use of his legs from polio as a young man and bounced back to become arguably the greatest American president, and led his country through the war and handled the Great Depression superbly. Or Nelson Mandela, who was imprisoned for 30 years and went on to become president of South Africa and end the evil apartheid in his country. Or Helen Keller, who lost her sight and hearing at only 19 months old and went on to become a world-famous author, lecturer, and political activist well over 100 years ago, well before modern technology could help her. And in Helen Keller's own words, character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. In psychological terms, all these extraordinary people not only bounced back from adversity, they bounced forward. They not only survived, but they thrived and grew as a result of adversity. And I'm sure you know people in your own personal life or at work, or have your own heroes and heroines who really personify and represent this marvelous quality. And you see, we can learn so much from history, especially the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, which was a study in resilience and which has seen a huge revival recently because it's so relevant to our modern day problems. In the words of the Roman emperor and Stoic Marcus Aurelius, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes a way. Now, this is a very profound phrase, and what it means is that whatever impediments or challenges we face are the key to our progress and advancement, and that our life is not about avoiding them, but dealing with them. So the way, our challenges, becomes the way for our growth, our happiness, and our fulfillment. Now, this really enables us to turn our greatest challenges into our greatest opportunities. Because when you see your problems, when you see adversity, failure, or setback as a gift, everything changes. Because it's the overcoming of hurdles that make you stronger and build your character. Now think of this in your own life. How has successfully handling a tough experience made you mentally tougher and more effective? You see, you are far more resilient and resourceful than you realize. You are a very, very strong person, but we forget it. We forget it in our routine days when we're living and working on autopilot. We forget all the times we've overcome adversity in the past. And we need to use this now more than ever to get through these challenging years we're all facing. So your practice this week is to practice bouncing forward and completely transform the way you view problems and difficulties. I want you to embrace challenges because this is when you're going to grow the most. And every time you come up against a problem or you're worried about something, answer these questions, and better still, write your answers in the journal. Firstly, what is good about this? Secondly, what can I learn from this experience? 3, how can I bounce forward? And 4, how does it help me when I transform a trial into a triumph? If I could wave a magic wand and give you just one ability that would help you over the coming months and years, it would be this ability to bounce forward and see every challenge as a gift and use every setback or misfortune to make you stronger. You don't need to be a Winston Churchill or a Helen Keller. You can begin today by learning to welcome all challenges you face.